Could Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs be committing highway robbery in the 2025 NFL Draft? We will explain what exactly is going on coming up on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in today's show, we are coming towards the end of the month of March, just a few days remaining. I would love to end this month on a high note, folks. I need your help. I want you to like today's video, and let's see if we can get 1,000 likes for the first time here in March. The most liked video we've had this month is 801. I believe we can do better than that. So if you love the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're glad to be here talking Chiefs football, hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. Thank you all in advance for doing so, and we'll get started with today's show. GM Brett Veach. Can he pull off highway robbery in this NFL draft? Well, according to a new report from The Athletic, there could be something stirring up here in a potential trade. The new report that we'll show you here in just a moment talks about how the Chiefs are potentially looking at trading up in the draft for one of two players. They include Georgia's defensive end, Mykel Williams, and Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. And we've seen the Chiefs have a great track record when it comes to the draft. They are in a position of strength. They could pull something off where they take a player that someone else really likes and jump ahead of the line. What about this possibility? Let's start with Mykel Williams. And we begin with this from Dane Brugler of The Athletic, who writes the following. One reason Williams might slip in the first round is that he spent much time last season playing through a nagging ankle injury. Listed at 6'5", 265 pounds, Williams is a pass rusher worthy of Veach making a move if the prospect is available after the 20th pick. Williams has the length and physical traits that have teams excited about his NFL future. He is an outstanding run defender and holds a lot of promise as a pass rusher. Now, when I look at the future for this Kansas City Chiefs team and this defense, if we want this defensive line to be elite for a long time, it's going to take more than just Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. You are going to need some extra pieces for this thing to be among some of the best in the league, and they very well could do that. And a guy like Mykel Williams could potentially be that answer that you're looking for at this position for Kansas City in this case. And you look at Mykel Williams' resume. This is a guy that played his entire career for the Georgia Bulldogs, who had an outstanding defense. He was a big impact player, two-time second-team All-SEC selection in 2023 and in 2024. He was a part of Georgia's national championship team a couple of years ago. And if we take things a step further and look at the scouting report, this is somebody that looks the part of a star pass rusher in the National Football League. He's got good size and frame. He's got an impressive upper body strength, great movement skills, effective agility. He does lack a true go-to move, but that's something that he could learn in the process along the way. And I look at the numbers here, and you think about this Georgia defense had so many pieces, all right? There was only so much Mykel Williams could do with the guys that he was working with. And typically we see the college numbers, they aren't nearly as comparable as the NFL numbers because I would say that with the offenses at the college level, it's much harder for these defenses to put up the great statistics like we see on the NFL side of things. But even with that said, 5 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles compared to 1 forced fumble the year prior. He got better each and every year. I think he's an intriguing prospect, and he could be a good fit for Kansas City. And you trade up for him and add him to a mix that includes Karlaftis and Chris Jones, now you could be cooking with bacon grease potentially. So what do you think about this idea of trading up from 31? And in a moment, we're going to explain exactly how they could trade up from 31 and do so without giving up too much. But we want to hear from you guys. Should the Chiefs trade up from 31? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in and let us know. Right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report, we are bringing you elite coverage on the channel each and every day with sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We have live shows each and every Tuesday, breaking news, Q&A mailbags. We are your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. If you love the Chiefs, this is the channel for you. You need to subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Lock us in for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV to subscribe now. We just passed 70,000 subscribers recently, but we're not stopping there. We're on the road to 100K, and we want you to make sure you're a part of the channel. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's shift gears now, talk about the other potential guy that the Chiefs could trade up for, and that is Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Dane Brugler writing this. A left tackle prospect, Simmons is talented enough to be a day one starter for the Chiefs if they choose to trade up in the first round. He could fall into the late first round because of the non-contact knee injury that ended his final college season. When healthy, though, he is a quality pass blocker. Now, here's, I think, between the two, I would guess that if Kansas City is going to be trading up, they would be more likely to trade up for Simmons or an offensive tackle rather than Williams, because I believe the offensive line is a more pressing issue than it is finding the edge rushers, although I'm not opposed to the idea of potentially trading up for an edge rusher like Mykel Williams. But you think about this. The Chiefs have learned a lesson the hard way over the last few drafts where they've looked for their offensive line talent. They tried replacing Eric Fisher a number of ways, and it just hasn't worked out since he left town with what the hand they were dealt with that one of those final picks in the draft at 31 and 32. And they've seen one too many times where the good offensive linemen were gone by the time they picked. So with that being said, that very well could happen again this year where there's a run on offensive tackles and there might not be any left that you're interested that you're looking for when you pick at 31. So if you do fall in love with a guy like Simmons, it might be worthwhile to go ahead and be aggressive and trade up potentially for Simmons from that 31 position. Simmons began his career at San Diego State from 2021 to 2022, then played his final 2 seasons at Ohio State. He was the third-team All-Big Ten selection in 2024, part of that national championship team there with the Ohio State Buckeyes. His grades were pretty solid this past season, an overall grade of 74.4, a pass block grade of 82, run block grade of 68.7, did not allow a single sack, did get called for 1 penalty this past season. But we'll get more on the penalty front here in just a moment when we go over the scouting report. He is somebody that has loose, fluid movement. He's got excellent quickness, which is very good to hear, especially for his position. Very good play strength. He has the inside strike ability to punch, but a issue that was for him earlier on in his career, he did a better job of taking care of it this past season, was some careless penalties. So you think about, let's say that you draft Simmons here. If you really like him at the left tackle spot, you could start him there, and Jalen Moore could play the guard spot potentially. He's got that positional flexibility here, and I think that's a big key for Kansas City when they're evaluating what to do with this offensive line is where could we move the guys around? How can we put together the best 5 out there? And that could certainly go well for you. You can find a spot for both Simmons and Moore in that sense. If you had to pick one to trade up for, would you rather trade up for Mykel Williams or Josh Simmons? Type MW for Mykel Williams. Type JS for Josh Simmons. Weigh in and let us know which one you'd rather trade up for. Get a great deal for Chiefs fans. Polos are on sale now for up to 50% off at chatsports.com/Chiefs Polos. Got the gray, got the stripes, got the red version. We got several others as well at that same link, chatsports.com/Chiefs Polos, to get yours today. And we have other Chiefs merchandise for your liking at that same link as well. Go see for yourself, chatsports.com/Chiefs Polos to get yours now up to 50% off. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Now, here's something to ponder, my friends. The Chiefs have 8 picks, but history tells us that typically that's a starting point for the Chiefs. They very well, even though they have 8 picks, they've done in the past where, okay, we got 7 or 8 picks, but of what's actually going to be on the 53-man roster is only 4, 5, or 6 of those players. We've seen where they've traded picks away to either move up in the past or they've traded picks away for future picks to stockpile in other drafts in the future. And so with that being said, whether it was last year trading up for Xavier Worthy or whether it was trading up for Patrick Mahomes many years ago as well, I think that you can't rule this possibility out. I know some people, when you say trade up, everybody kind of is of the belief of, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. But I think because the Chiefs have shown the ability to be aggressive, that Brett Veach has a great track record when it comes to the draft, we can't rule this out. And they've had some big wins when they've been able to do this. They've pulled off highway robbery in getting Patrick Mahomes away from the Buffalo Bills, in getting Xavier Worthy away from the Buffalo Bills. And Brett Veach, I mean, this guy's got a killer instinct to him. And I think that he could be seeing this opportunity if he really falls in love with Williams or Simmons and has an opportunity to take them, that he's not afraid to be aggressive and make that move to get there, to get one of those guys potentially. I think it's a very real possibility. You look at the Chiefs draft picks. You pick at 31, then you pick at 63, and then you pick again at 66. There's some opportunities there with some picks that are close by to package a deal to move up. And then you go to round 3. There's another pick at 95. That's 4 picks in the first 95 picks in this draft. There's some flexibility to move up here without even having to dip into next year's draft capital to make that happen. Then you go over the other picks. You got 133, 226, 251, and 257. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to be very surprised if we're talking about this draft concluding and the Chiefs make all 8 of these selections. There will be movement. They very well could see it in the first round. It could be later on potentially, but watch out. Highway robbery could be on the way for Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs in this draft. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report.